And holy cow, did it mess me up. Now, this is something actually fairly recently. So I was in Europe with my family, and we were in the south of France, and then we went to Portugal, and we came back through Paris. And all that time, I had stayed pretty consistent with a carnivore diet, although, I kind of had to shift more towards more dairy products, more eggs, and less beef, which I typically eat. And I have been eating for basically the last 9 years. I started this diet back in 2016, so it's, late 2025 here. And over those years, I have consumed meat, beef every single day, essentially. There have been periods of time up to 2 years where that's the only thing I ate, literally only beef. And but over the years, I'd kind of brought in, from time to time, like I said, some dairy products, some eggs, some seafood, and then every once in a while something off, just totally off plan. That's been my consistency over the years, and generally have done pretty well with that. But on this trip, we sort of deviated a little bit, just for a brief period of time, and the consequences were not good at all. We were staying in Paris, and we were staying near the Seine, the river that goes through Paris, and checking out the sights. And family was eating in a few restaurants, and I said, well, what the heck, I'll just eat whatever. I'm not going to pay for all this expensive food and not consume it, because that's just the way it is, and it's kind of harder in a foreign country. When you're traveling, it's always a little bit more of a challenge. But so I decided, well, I'll just eat the regular food that comes on the menu. And not like I was eating a bunch of junk food. It was just kind of normal food that people would eat. So, if it was steak frites, then I would eat the frites, basically the potatoes that come with that, and a few other odds and ends things. And I was consuming quite a bit more dairy than I'm used to doing. And one of the things I noticed, well, obviously, when traveling, sleep is a little jacked up, and it just is due to the time zone difference, due to sleeping in different beds, and different schedule. But I just understand there's a little rash. It's kind of unusual. I don't usually have stuff like that. So that was one of the things. But the real problem was, and this was significant. This was not a minor thing. This was a real, almost like a medical emergency for me. I was really concerned about this. We had one more day left, and we were going to get on the plane the following day. So about 36 hours before leaving, I developed the worst case of constipation I've ever had in my life. I'm not talking about a little bit. I'm not talking about some minor inconvenience, a little straining on the toilet. This was so severe that I had visions and seriously considered I'd have to go to the ER to get disimpacted. I mean, this is something as medical students, there was some type.
This guy is saying he nearly died from eating French fries. Like, I mean, give me a fucking break, dude. If you're that sensitive, like there's something wrong with you, like you're not in good health. If eating just some fried potatoes will cause a medical emergency, you're doing something wrong. I think he's just, a bitch.
Threatened us going in there and manually disimpacting people with impacted bowels. We have to kind of dig the poop out of people, which is pretty disgusting if you think about it. So I get in there, and we get back from the evening, and I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So if I have to go to the bathroom, constipation. So I'm like, whoa, nothing's coming out. And I will tell you, in the near decade-long time that I've been on a carnivore, I've never been constipated. It's not an issue. My bowel habits are completely fine. No issues with that whatsoever. It's fine. There's no issues whatsoever. But this was something, that started. I'm on the toilet. 10 minutes go by, nothing happens, 20 minutes goes by. And then over a period of almost 3 hours of trying, my wife is asleep, and nothing's coming out. I'm miserable. I literally got some.
Oh, crap.
Let me tell you, guys.
He looks so unhealthy, can't even pinpoint it. Many Americans look like that, all broad and a bit red and ill-proportioned. Well, most Americans look like shit. So, yeah. Americans also tend to just be a bit uglier, honestly. If you look at all the, big Hollywood actors right now, a lot of them aren't even American. Like Henry Cavill, I think he's from the UK. Hugh Jackman, Australia. Chris Hemsworth, Australia. Christian Bale, I think that's Australia again. You do have Brad Pitt, but a lot of them aren't even American. I've been to the States. It's just kind of an ugly country. A lot of that probably has to do with obesity. I'm sure, a lot of people look better if they weren't, fat, but... Dodo, $22.
A decade-long time that I've been on a carnivore, I've never been constipated. It's not an issue. My bowel habits are completely fine. No issues with that whatsoever. It's fine. There's no issues whatsoever. But this was something, it started, I'm on the toilet, 10 minutes go by, nothing happens, 20 minutes goes by. And then over a period of almost 3 hours of trying, my wife was asleep and nothing's coming out. I'm miserable. I literally, so I finally give up and go to bed. And I wake up next morning, my wife said, hey, we're gonna go check out the Eiffel Tower and go touring around. I said, hey, I gotta stay home and deal with this. So I asked her to go to the pharmacy to pick up a few things that might help with that. So a little stool softener and a little bowel stimulant. I'm gonna try these things. So I take those and they're supposed to kick in, in about 6 hours or something like that. So I'm waiting around, hop on the toilet again, a couple more attempts, nothing happens. So I decide that, hey, I'm just gonna go walk around because this is, we know that helps with constipation. So I walk around Paris, I'm walking around, I walk by the, Notre Dame, I go by the Louvre, I'm walking along the river, and, and then I get about a mile and a half from where we're staying in a hotel, and all of a sudden, the medicine kicks in. And it's like, oh my God, I felt like I was gonna crap my pants. So I'm walking around Paris, thinking I have to go to the bathroom, but still, nothing's coming out, but I feel that way. I get the sensation that I'm gonna, crap my pants. So I'm walking around Paris, trying to get back to the hotel where I can kind of take care of business, in the privacy of my hotel room. And I make it back, and hop on the toilet and figure like, oh, great, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. And still, nothing happens. I'm pushing in, trying to poop, and literally it feels like my insides are flipping around backwards, and nothing comes out. So I'm sitting
Probiotics do not help with constipation.
there. I'm just really thinking about, oh man, do I gotta go to the ER to get this impacted? What's gonna happen here? I decided, well, there's one other thing I can potentially do, and there's a medication called Microlax, which is basically a lubricant. It's like a rectal medicine you put up your butt. So I stick this lubricant medicine up my butt, and it's supposed to kick in about 15 minutes. And sure enough, it starts kicking in, and I start to feel that I can go to the bathroom and I hop on the toilet. It takes me over a period of about 3 or 4 hours, about 3 or 4 attempts of just pushing like I'm trying to deliver a baby. And it's like, I think it was like I had cement in my bowels. I mean, and I think it was because of the fiber, which I'm not used to eating. I just don't eat fiber. So all the fiber that I included, increasing my diet, plus probably the overconsumption of fromage or the cheese. And so I'm in there, straining and
It's probably the dairy. Some people have a genetic mutation where if they consume dairy, it causes constipation.
finally over about a period of 3 hours and 3 or 4 times, I'm able to get a decent amount out of me to where I feel like I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore, which was a feat in itself. And so thankfully, I was like, I don't have to go to the ER at least. And so I decided, the next day I was like, I'm just not eating. So I ended up fasting for like 48 hours, on the plane back and so on and so forth, and got home. And then at that point, just given a couple things, I decided, hey, I'm just going to do a complete reset, complete 100% beat that. And I'll talk to you about how that's been going in another video here. But suffice it to say, cheating on the carnivore diet sometimes can be.
Didn't he claim all he eats is beef? So yeah, he's not following the carnivore diet. He's just full of shit.